covering the White House and all those presidents who have walked through its doors since the 1960s. We caught up with a veteran newsman to get his take on the Oval Office and all those commanders-in-chief along the way. The lead up to the 2020 presidential election brought forth an interesting campaign year that quickly came to a halt once coronavirus took over in March. But before that, veteran journalist Sam Donaldson talked about his memories of spending time in the White House covering presidents.
You've covered presidents from JFK?
John Kennedy. I came to Washington 2 weeks after his inauguration, and if there were 5,000 reporters in Washington, I was the 5,001st. That's how important I was. But you could go down to the White House if you were with any legitimate news organization, show your Exxon card, bring in a valise of something, put it in the Rose Garden, a few feet from the podium where he would speak. It was a different time. I had never had the courage during those years to try to ask him a question. I'd go to his news conference and I'd sit in the back of the auditorium over at the State Department where they held the news conferences and watch the big boys, Smitty, and the big girls. Helen Thomas was there, May Craig, but that changed with the next president.
Over the years, Donaldson found the courage and became known for never backing down, asking the tough questions of presidents. The political reporter for ABC News from 1967 until 2013, Donaldson frequently went toe-to-toe with the Teflon president, as some referred to the former actor, governor, and 40th United States President, Ronald Reagan.
My favorite president from the standpoint of a reporter, I wasn't there to cover Franklin Roosevelt or and Harry Truman or any of the people, would be Ronald Reagan, only because of the great sun that he exhibited wherever he went. I mean, I said people like me, reporters, were in his shadow, but that shadow was big enough to make you somebody in the business.
Despite their differences, Donaldson says he thinks fondly on the White House coverage of the 20th century, and Ronald Reagan making him a household name during that time.
And he proved to be a terribly good president from the standpoint of handling the Soviet Union. We all thought he was going to get us into a thermonuclear war at the beginning, but by the end of his second term, he and the new guy there, Gorbachev, had made deals, and it hastened the end of the Soviet Union. We talk about people that are comfortable in their own skin, right? Rather than people who are they're actually afraid that maybe they don't measure up. And Reagan was. He put good people around him when he was in his first term, including for his chief of staff, the architect of his opponent in the primaries' initial success, James Baker III. Baker was a good man. He knew he could do the job. Didn't mind that he'd run his opponent's campaign. And the same thing. You never felt that Ronald Reagan somehow had to preen and make himself strut around in order to make certain everyone knew that he was president of the United States. No.
Your advice for modern journalists?
Well, look for the facts and don't be afraid to express what you think you found as the facts. And of course, if you find you were wrong, you have to correct it. And don't worry about people who won't look at facts and use them to make up their own minds about policy or life, for that matter, or who say that you're doing it maliciously because you want to tear down the best president or the best candidate in the world. As long as that's not your motive, just do it. Just do it, You're not in the business to win a popularity contest. If you want to do that, go Mr. America or something. You're in the business to tell people what you think they need to know about situations, because you've investigated and they're too busy with their own lives to do that.
Today, Sam Donaldson lives on a ranch in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He still gets out for speaking engagements along the way. It's a story that was covered by every major news outlet in the nation. This year marks the 50th anniversary of the bungled burglary that changed the course of American history, Watergate. In 1972, 5 men were arrested for breaking into the Democratic National Committee headquarters. The break-in took place at the Watergate building in Washington, D.C. It turns out the burglars had a connection to the White House. The press and the Justice Department connected the cash found on them to the Committee for the Re-election of President Richard Nixon. The cover-up led to Nixon's resignation in 1974. Next on Presidential Libraries, Museums, and More, honoring our fallen heroes. A Vietnam veteran with no local family gets a proper send-off here at Jefferson Barracks.